Hi everybody, today is June 28th, Tuesday, and it's a kind of a unique and special day on this adventure that we've been on. Today marks the number 1,000 videos that I've put up since March 23rd of 2020. We are in Walla Walla, Washington, and playing here tonight, and then we drive to Ketchum, Idaho after the show. But during the course of things, I've been giving a lot of thought as to what I would do for kind of a milestone video. And I had thought originally I'd probably be home for it, and then I was planning on just playing along and doing like maybe a full-on concert for you, just showing bass parts and the whole thing, because this is how it all began. But being out here, I thought, it's really more of a day, kind of for me, of reflection. And I want to just kind of revisit this whole experience. When we finished Phil Collins's "Not Dead Yet" tour, I started to get some messages from different people, mainly bass players, saying, "Oh, we saw you in Germany, or we saw you in South America, and the show was great, you know, blah, blah, blah." But it was all like stadium gigs, really big venues. And they said, you know, some of them, it was kind of hard to hear all the details of the bass parts by the nature of the venue. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll just show them my bass parts. I've discussed this before, but I just want to kind of, for anybody who didn't know how this all began, this is the story. I contacted Michel Collin, who was our front of house mixer for a number of years, and had him send me one of the shows. It happened to be from Adelaide, Australia. What he sent me was the board mix of the show. And he's a great mixer, so the mix was really good on it. And what I did was, because right now I'm talking into my iPhone 11, for those who wonder how I do these. I'm sitting here with my laptop open, with my phone leaning against the screen. I have my Bose speaker plugged in next to it, and at home I would have my little euphonic audio amp next to me and a bass. Excuse me. And so what I decided to do was I kind of played around with it a little bit, and I played the track that he sent me through the Bose speaker, and then I played the bass part along with it on my amp, and then kept playing with levels and stuff, adjusting it to the point where the bass was just a little bit louder than the track, so that you could hear every note. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to just do the show for him. And I started with the very first song in the show, and did that the first day. And then the second day, I did the second song of the show. I think it was Another Day in Paradise. And then the third day, I did the third song of it, and told a little bit of stories. But I think most of those videos were on an average of, like maybe 5 minutes long, pretty quick. But by the fourth day, I had people start writing to me going, "Man, we love your YouTube channel." And I'm sitting here going, "What are you talking about? What YouTube channel?" I mean, I've always enjoyed YouTube. I find it a great source of information and entertainment and discovery more than anything. Finding really amazing artists that I'd never heard of before, seeing their performances, sometimes picking a song that's been covered many times and just listening to all the different performances of it, just to see different interpretations, things like that. And also just to look up things that I was unfamiliar with and trying to use it as an educational tool. So I'm saying, "What are you talking about?" And they go, "No, that thing you're doing now, the Phil Collins tunes." So it caught me totally off guard that this was actually a channel. I mean, I had no idea how you started a YouTube channel or how you did anything. It was just a fluke, as they say. But I kept at it every day until I got to the very last song of the tour, of the show, which was "Take Me Home." And I chose not to play that because it felt final. And I thought, I was really enjoying it. I was enjoying reading the comment section after each video, and I thought, I'm going to save Take Me Home until I decide to terminate this channel and move on at that point. I'll make that the ultimate last song on here, the way we would end a tour show. But I was finished with Phil, and I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do now? So I found myself starting to dig in to my history, which I've never addressed before. I mean, if people come up and say, "Oh, what did you play on?" I kind of go, "Oh, I don't know." I think about today and tomorrow. I really have never really given great thought to the past and what I've done. So it kind of required me to sit and think about my history in this business, which really began kind of in the early 1970. And certainly my relationship with James Taylor launched my career for me. I mean, I was a player and in bands before that, but James brought everything to prominence at that point. So I kind of went, well, maybe I'll do some James songs, play along with those, and some Jackson, Brown, and then maybe some Linda Ronstadt and all those people, and then maybe some Billy Cobham. Then I started discovering Discogs and All Music and all these different sites where I'm suddenly looking, going, crap, I've done a lot. I didn't even really think about it. And started trying to every day find another song and be able to, first of all, the thing I've enjoyed so much about it is paying respect to the other players that I've worked with throughout my career. I've been really very fortunate to have played with some of the finest musicians that this planet has to offer, and engineers and producers and different people in this business, because this isn't a one man thing. It's not a one trick pony. There's a lot of people involved when we would make music, both live and in the studio. So it's been really nice to bring attention to all of those people too, plus being able to turn people on to music that they were unfamiliar with. And so many people have come to me and said, I love that artist. I went back and I just bought their catalog. I've done whatever. It's been an absolutely unique experience for me, and an adventure every day. And some of it gets very frustrating when there's blockages, or I've found tons of albums where there's maybe two or three bass players on the album, and we're not credited. That just says we're on it, and trying to figure out which tracks you've played on, because there are times where you're playing somebody else's notes and interpretation, and you're just a vehicle for their arrangement, and you really kind of go, God, is that me, or is that Bob Glob, or is that Abe Senior, or who is that on there? And so I've tried not to take credit for anything that I have not played on. But it's I never did I think that at this point, over 2 years later, that I'd still be sitting here every day presenting songs and stories. But it's especially during the course of COVID, has been a lifesaver for me, to be able to share my musical journey with everyone, not from an egocentric, like dig me kind of a thing, but when I listen to other people's music, we're all of the music is sort of the fabric of our lives, and to be able to share it and talk about it and listen to it and experience it has been really just an incredible thing. And before I go on, I think the thing I want to say more than anything is thank you for finding this channel and becoming a part of it. And like, we're right on the cusp of 200,000 subscribers on the channel, where I never, you don't think about these things. So it's really it's been kind of surprising. But the genuine enthusiasm of so many people that have come to this channel and expressed themselves in the chats and all that is really so remarkable to me. And it really is become this amazing community that evolved out of this, and certainly through that, being convinced to set up a clubhouse and have an absolutely incredible group of people join the clubhouse. And we have our bi-monthly meetings, and it's become a group of friends on here where people have said to me in the past, they go, well, I'd love to join, but I don't know that much about bass. I assure you, bass is one of the last things that's come out of this. This is a group of people that have just come together and are just sharing life experiences, everything from their favorite candy bars and movies to what's going on with their families. Some I've been able to actually meet at gigs, and it makes it that much closer. And then to have my one-on-one day where now when I see names, I know voices, I know faces and stuff. Because when COVID hit, I was sitting home with a pretty full calendar of work coming up for the next 6 months to a year. And in an instant, it all just flat out disappeared, everything, especially in the beginning of COVID where nobody knew what was happening. There was no vaccinations, it was just danger. Everything shut down. And I found myself just thinking, what am I going to do now? I'm used to being busy. I've never really slowed down. So when this channel evolved out of it, I kind of went, this is like the greatest gift I could have ever asked for, was to find a community like this to spend my time with. And then other things evolved out of that, having, doing the book, recording from home, which I had never done before, and now I've done a bunch of albums from home. All kinds of things have come during this period that really made it for a period in our history that is really dark and terrible and dangerous and everything when COVID hit. To have been able to, as the old adage goes, making lemonade out of a lemon, really felt great. I've never really looked at this period, and sit back and go, well, I was sure lucky during this and kind of thing, because I've lost a number of people. I have friends that are long haul COVID victims, that others that have died and stuff, and I've never not taken this very seriously. But I feel fortunate that I did manage to find an avenue of creativity and of things to do that having lost a year of work became very satisfying on a whole different level. It was like a potential plan B became plan A. And I'm forever grateful of that. And so much of that, like I said, is all of you who come here. Maybe not necessarily every day, but you come here. Others that have just started discovering it, and they're going to kind of look and go, 1,000 videos? Hell, I don't have time to go back and look at all that stuff. But jump in anywhere you want on it. But I enjoy this so much. And then, it got to a point though where I started thinking about songs that I've worked on, albums. Let's take an album like No Other by Gene Clark. What we did in the studio was really magical. And on that track, I ended up, I think, playing 5 different basses, all doing all different parts, layering parts and stuff on it. So I suddenly realized I can't sit here and play this stuff. It's actually going to diminish the song rather than enhancing the song, because what happened in the studio at that given moment was really magical. So that's when I decided to kind of shift over and play on occasion, but also present videos and stories, and become an audience member myself during it, because so much of this stuff I maybe haven't even heard in like 30, 40 years. And suddenly I'm going, oh God, I forgot about that song. That's really great. And suddenly I close my eyes and I'm back in the studio. I can see the room. I can see where everybody was sitting. And so many of the players that I've worked with over the years are no longer with us, and reflecting on the Jeff Piccaros and Carlos Vegas and Michael Breckers and Don Grolnicks and on and on and on. There's so many gone now. To me, it's a comfort zone. It's like when I go up to Forest Lawn and I sit at Jeff Piccaro's grave. I don't find it morbid. I love the guy. I work with him all the time, and it brings me comfort just to sit up there and kind of just sort of talk to him sometimes and just say, I miss you, dude, man. The music we could have made together had you not gone. But there's so much of that when I'm sitting and listening to tracks along with you. And I really enjoy that. And I've had people say, "Aren't you going to play anymore?" I will. I can't play certainly while I'm on the road because I don't have my amp set up in a room here, and I can't do that. I mean, I have people banging. You know, the front desk will be calling, "Shut that down!" And suddenly I'll be back like I was in a band in high school in the garage, and the police came because the neighbors were complaining we were too loud. But I'll get to that stuff, you know, that kind of performance when the tour's over and I get back. And then, of course, during the course of this whole period, having the immediate family to focus on has been incredible. And the opportunity to be doing, you know, almost finished with a new album, to have Denny Tedesco making this documentary movie about this. And Denny just wrote to me today. So many good, positive things happened during this period of darkness, and I'm completely appreciative of it. I'm gonna, you know, during the course of this tour with Lyle Lovett, I'm gonna keep out there every day like that I can, you know, visiting the venues and showing you the inner sanctum of the gigs and all that stuff, and then we'll play songs for you during the course of this too. But I kind of looked at this and just thinking, what the hell am I going to do for a 1,000th video? Say 1,000th 1,000 times. That's a good tongue twister. But I thought, you know, there's not a song I could play really that would really do what I was feeling today. So I really felt it was more important for me just to really acknowledge all of you who have come here and been such a part of this whole adventure that I find myself on, and I'm loving taking you along with me on it. And you've turned me on to other music that I was unfamiliar with that I've checked out, and I'm loving that. And you're just an absolutely unique and remarkable community, and I will be forever grateful to have had you come into my life. And I plan on doing this as long as I possibly can. And because it's something I look forward to every single day. So I'm going to get ready and head off to work. Maybe I'll have a video up later on. I'll see what the venue's like and see what's possible to do over there. And but more than anything, I just wanted to say I love you all. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being just the coolest bunch of folks one could ever have wanted to have come into their lives. And just know that this is all meant in from the bottom of my heart. You are really number one in my book. So take good care and happy 1,000. I'm glad there's no candles involved. We have a forest fire out here. So bye, everybody.